this is your July 24 soul story. If you've got a sun rising or your moon in the sign, I hope this reading is going to give you some insights that might be helpful for you as you make your way through the next few weeks. It's Romy. Thanks so much for joining me on the channel. We're opening up this month with the Page of Fire, and you are really enthusiastically wanting to say something. It's been on your mind for some time. It's been in your heart for some time. I think there is this realization that you no longer want to be held hostage to something. Now, of course, your ruling planet Neptune is stationing retrograde in your sign from the 2nd of the month. And in all honesty, it does bring a little bit of a wake-up call. And I think, as this planet strips things back and you're sort of left with what is still holding value, what still has meaning for you, there's a kind of determination and quite a spirited response to kind of what that means for you moving forward. There's certainly still a struggle, I think, and we can see the full moon coming into the card here, and we're still sort of bookended between these two powerful Capricorn full moons. The first one, of course, took place back in June at solstice energies, and we're going to have the second one coming in later in July. So in the build up to that, I think there's definitely a realization of what you want to do, what you should be doing, but perhaps there's still some sense of an inner conflict or feeling of discord as to what that might mean, the ripple effect that might have. You've got to remember though, right? You're, of all the signs, Pisces, you're the river, not the rock. So you have to find this ability to flow. You've got to be able to move with the currents and tides. And we're in Cancer season, so I think that water element will be very supportive in helping you to, I suppose, go all the way with something, because you might have sort of dipped your toe in the water a little bit. But there's something about the energy of July that's just going, okay, I'm just kind of ready to go all in with this. And, the same day that Neptune stations retrograde, we've also got Mercury shifting into Leo, Venus in Leo from the 11th as well. So we've got a lot more, I want to say, heart and courage and drive directly from the heart space that's also helping you as you build up to that new moon in Cancer on the 5th of the month, to really say to yourself, okay, these are the changes that I want to make, I'm now ready to make. You've got the 9 of Fire here, a lot of fire to be working with, and remember that can transmute and clear situations as well. So if you're feeling into some heaviness or resistance, even some disappointment, with that wake-up call, if there's a bubble that's burst or an expectation that hasn't been met, or you're just finding yourself just a little out of sorts, that fire can be harnessed and utilized really powerfully. The 9, of course, does indicate to us that there may be, almost like a lack of trust in the process, trust in another party, trust in yourself with regards to something. There is an invitation here for persistence and perseverance. You're almost at a point of being able to kind of wrap something up or move on or create space for a different type of experience. And that's important, but sometimes the last mile is the hardest, right? And you may just feel a little bit drained. We also need to be mindful we're not just burning out too quickly. Sometimes the overwhelm of Cancer energy, especially as the sensitivity can trigger us in many ways. This season invites us to consider our sense of belonging, where we feel safe. And if you're repeatedly in environments, in relationships, in jobs, in any kind of surroundings and circumstances that are not allowing you to feel safe, then that's the kind of trigger warning. It comes up loud this month and sort of is brought back into the spotlight to say, okay, what do we need to do to address this? Because your nervous system, is already in a place where it's been heightened for, weeks and months and perhaps years on end, and you've been working hard diligently to understand the things that support you in bringing that back into balance. And now it's about sort of firmly integrating that and perhaps building the boundaries that are going to help you to sustain that moving forward. So that new moon feels really important. It's like a quiet commitment that you make to yourself, and one that you want to, particularly on an emotional front and perhaps close to home in regards to family, especially in regards to anything that's going on in parent dynamics, you as a parent or with your parents. That can also be illuminated quite powerfully this month. And remember, Cancer always invites us to be the inner parent to ourselves. So, you might be coming up against those mother and father wounds in different ways, and perhaps even have a different level of understanding through the month of July in regards to how you've been affected, how that still affects you in many ways. Now, we've got the King of Earth showing up here. Now, what I really like is Pallas Athena, the asteroid goddess, is stationing direct in Scorpio, another water energy for you on the 9th of the month. But remember, Pallas is about helping us with strategy. I feel this is where our King of Earth comes through. I feel like you're getting help, support, guidance, counsel, or you're seeking information that's going to be pertinent and enabling you to look at something, address something in quite a realistic way, in a manageable way that's going to, I suppose, just open the door for something or take some pressure off you, or allow something to be dealt with in a more methodical approach that sort of is going to help for you in the long term, sustainable in the long term. So I think the counsel that comes forth from that King of Earth, or even as you sort of tap into that part of yourself, remember, he's wildly aware of the work that it takes to get to a point of ease. We bring abundance into our life through many ways. We have to hold the energetic intention. We have to work on our manifestation. We have to physically become that which we desire. We also have to put the work in. We also have to take the action. And I think the combination of fire and earth here also tells me that regardless if July is, a time of rest, recuperation, holiday time for you, there's still this element of you continuing to do the work in some way, shape or form. And the likelihood is that that's more of an inner work, if you like, a lot of you dealing and coming to terms and taking personal responsibility and accountability for something. There's a mastery that comes through when we work with the energy of the King of Earth. And I think what we're also seeing here is a generosity or a benevolence that's showing up in some way, shape or form. So you might have somebody really stepping up, and I feel like it's more in terms of giving their time rather than anything else. But their time is valuable, and what you can learn from that can be really impactful for you. So whether this is somebody that's just hard to get hold of, hard to reach, is incredibly busy. You have the capacity to sort of ask and be granted, if you like, the opportunity to have a meaningful conversation or spend some time in regards to that. Now, what we will see with Venus in Leo and also Mars coming into the sign of Gemini on the 20th is this very sort of flirtatious, passionate energy that can be harnessed and enjoyed through the month of July. You can kind of charm your way into anything. We've got the Four of Water here, and there's almost like an offer coming your way, but I feel like you've managed to sort of single-handedly create the conditions to receive that offer. It's almost like it's been part of a manifestation that you've been thinking about, or you could see it coming on the horizon, and you've done what was necessary from your side to make sure you were in a position to say yes to something. I do want to say, like, all that glitters isn't always gold. Sometimes the Four of Water can kind of come forth with something, and within us we might just have that sort of strange energy, that slight ambivalence. There's something that's maybe not quite striking a chord or getting us too excited, and we want to pay heed to that, because it's perhaps reminding you that actually, even though this looks great on paper, it's exactly what I wanted, it's what I asked for. In the reality of how this might unfold, it's perhaps not the gig, it's not the thing, it's not the offer, or really going to end up delivering the thing that we have been seeking. Now, that's not to say that there's not something of value there, so you might choose to explore or experiment with that regardless. Sometimes we can tell somebody something, but it's through your lived experience that it really then comes to life for you. And so that's what it's about, to have this human soul experience, isn't it? Is to say yes to as many type of situations and circumstances as possible, so that your soul has the opportunity to grow. So even though something may come through and I'm saying it might not end up delivering what you expect it to, I still kind of see you moving through it and just allowing yourself to see what the process has in store for you, what you can gain from it. What we then also have is a situation where you're being invited to ask the questions that perhaps you've been too afraid to, you know. You're doing way better than you think you are. And I think there will be a moment of sort of Dutch courage that comes through. We've got messenger of fire here. Look, all this fire coming up and really saying to you, like, it's time to just kind of seize something and just go for it. You're going to surprise yourself in terms of where that can lead you, okay? Because you no longer want to be held hostage to something, it sort of puts you in a place where you've only really got one choice. It's like either I kind of put up and shut up, or I turn around and say, no, I'm choosing something different, and you know, this is what I want, or this is how it's going to be. The choices are there for you, you know, even if other people are making it seem to you like there are no choices. Hear that again. Even if other people are making out like there are no choices for you in this situation, there are. You just have to dig a bit deeper within yourself to figure out and be clear about what you're trying to get out of the end scenario of this as well. Messenger of Fire is also telling me we're striking up powerful conversations. You've got a great launch pad, if you like, I think, for something to be built upon. Now, again, when Neptune stations retrograde in your sign, we do this every year. So over the next few months, you know, it's an energy you're used to working with. It's a self-directed conversation that you're having about your hopes, your dreams, your artistic capabilities, where the illusions, the delusions, the fantasies haven't really materialized in a way that's satisfying to you. We sort of go back to the drawing board. We have a blank canvas and we get to start to reshape and, you know, reimagine things. And that can be a really powerful time for you as well, because you have this amazing ability to be able to reach in, you know, through that heart space to the most magical wonderful possibilities and opportunities. And, you know, sometimes we just need to be given a no or come up against a wall for us to be able to sort of turn inwards and creatively find a solution that's actually going to serve us way better. So perhaps we expect that there might be some sense of a blockage, particularly how it impacts you on an emotional level. You might just feel a bit blocked emotionally regarding something unusual for you. Yes, for sure, but I think there's just something that comes around that might be more challenging or something that you haven't quite ever encountered before. So you have to take that pause and really consider, like, what do I want to do with this? Now, of course, we've got the second full moon in Capricorn arriving on the 21st, and there's just something there that's saying, okay, it's now. We've had the opportunity to really look at this and play with it and work with it and sit with it since the last Capricorn full moon. Now it's decision time. Now we make a choice. Now we're at a crossroads. And, you know, just ahead of that sun shifting into Leo and moving in to your 6th house, remember, it's a lot about the day-to-day choices and decisions that you're making and how that robustly helps you to move more into your purpose path and be of service. But I think what's also happening as we approach the end of the month, Pisces, you know, we're going to have Chiron going retrograde in Aries on the 26th, just ahead of that Mercury in Virgo. There's a criticality, there's a sensitivity that, you know, gets amplified, and we're reminded about something that we've been working on from a healing perspective. We may feel wrongly so, but we may feel I've not made any progress. You know, I've come full circle and it just feels like nothing's changed, or I'm still feeling as raw on this as I ever was. It's okay if you feel like you're just not over it. You know, this is something that's continuous, and we have to hold space and compassion for ourselves. Be mindful that toward the end of the month there may be people saying things that feel very salt in the wound energy a little bit. That might in some ways though be an instigator or a catalyst for change and helping you make a choice or decision that's actually going to serve you better. I also think you can get incredibly organized around that time, and that will be super beneficial because, you know, you may have had a situation where everything has felt a bit haphazard, or there just hasn't been the space. And what they're coming through with is saying, you know, we've got the capacity to rearrange things or reorder things so that you get everything that you need, whether that be money, that be time, that be energy. So there are changes that you will need to make, but as you do, following that full moon Capricorn, almost like you really let go of something, and that could be connected into a major responsibility that you've held, and finally you're just like, okay, enough, I'm moving on, I'm letting this go, or somebody else needs to step up, and that's going to be a bit of a game changer, I think, for you in terms of then giving you more space to breathe and then start to get organized and prepare. There's a lot of preparation energy that's kind of starting to emerge even now that will kind of gather momentum and power as you move in toward August, September. And that's because the end of the year kind of ramps up. And in a way, you know, if you felt like arriving at this midpoint, like I'm nowhere near where I thought, or there's been this vacuum of energy, everything sort of felt like it's not necessarily materialized, or it hasn't had a lot of spark, you know, you've got a lot of fire to work with here, but there is a shift and a changing and a clearing going on, huge clearing, collective clearing taking place at this moment in time. This on a personal level for you will impact you because you'll find yourself just in a way, like, even though you're in conversations, you're in company, you're doing your socials, you're, you know, at work, all these things, but you're still sort of feeling slightly separate. It's almost like you're kind of observing a lot of the interactions, a lot of the goings on, kind of lost in your own little world a little bit, in your own bubble. That's very helpful for you. So don't be feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm so checked out, like it's difficult to connect or to feel like I'm being present. You're being present with the soul, and the soul is leading you very powerfully, and that's very unique to you and your path. No one else can walk your shoes. So just allow that experience fully through this month of July, because it's going to help you make really important decisions and come to clear conclusions about the choices, what's on the table, and what you want to do next, because there are a whole lot of different ways that you could deal with this or take this on, and people will have a lot of advice and input for you, but ultimately you're the one that's going to have to walk this path. So it's important that you feel like I'm making the right call here. But I do think you've got really powerful counsel and wisdom that's supporting you to enable you to think, I can go further. I can take on something that's maybe felt like it's burning deeply within your heart space. And now is the time. It is the time. If you're new to the channel, our last 3 cards, we're going to look in the extended reading. We also look at a personal question and a relationship card, so you can join me with a small investment, and it really supports me being able to show up for the free reading. So thank you so much, Pisces. I'm just going to go ahead and clarify the main read, just see the direction we're going to take some of these messages for you. Got energy of strength coming through, 7 of Cups. You'll find the links below for the extended reading and over on my website as well, romywiser.com, where you'll also find my deck, my oracle deck, my book, ways to work with me, and all of my sacred soul support as well. So please do check that out if you're new to the channel. Energy of the moon, the lovers. Okay, what about this 4 of water, Ace of Wands, good. Page of Pentacles, okay, 9, beautiful, and the Queen. You're bringing something to life, you know, there's something that feels tangible and like it's, you know, I actually think like Neptune retrograde, you know, even though it can kind of give you that powerful wake-up call initially, when you kind of then realize what's left after everything's been stripped away, I think there's some real jewels there, and then it maybe just refocuses your attention towards something that you'd overlooked or missed, and then you can really make something of that and see the results and the rewards of it quite quickly. Okay, so we're just going to have a look at Life Soul Vision Oracle, which is my own deck. Let's see what is showing up. We've got Mirrors of the Mind, Labyrinth of Sweet Surrender. We've got Karmic Cause and Effect for you. Energy Conversations, Queen of Air, Portals of Possibility, beautiful. Okay, one more oracle for Pisces for the month of July. What do we have for you? Financial health. Okay, you got some good strong abundance cards in your reading this month. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. Have a beautiful month of July. Please join me on the extended if it's resonating. Really supports me in my work. I will see you again next time. Bye for now.